Hi everyone, this is Donny Lowy from Closeoutexplosion.com. Hope you're doing well today. I'd like to discuss with you the wholesale shoe market in New York. New York has a very vibrant wholesale market, and when I say New York, I'm referring to the 5 boroughs. You can also include New Jersey, which is very close to New York, and you have some pretty impressive shoe wholesalers out of New Jersey as well. Now, the wholesale market in New York ranges from the brands themselves, such as Nine West, such as Steve Madden, all the way down to Chinese importers who are importing non-branded shoes. So I would say that's the lower end of the market. They're selling shoes mostly to discount stores. They're not going to have any brand, or they're going to be a generic label such as American shoes. Now you're going to have brand name shoes in New York, which are going to be very high end. You can have boutique label shoes, which might wholesale for a few $100s a pair. Then you could have brand name shoes, which I would say are more in the middle of the market, like shoes by Steve Madden, Nine West. You can have really nice shoes by Calvin Klein, BCBG, Guess, and then Karen Scott's also a really nice brand. You have White Mountain, which is a nice brand. You also have shoes like Ink and Alfani, which are carried by Macy's, which you can also get in the overstock market, such as in warehouses like my warehouse, where I get overstock from department stores. And even though those brands are department store names, they're actually well known overseas. So whether you sell in the United States or outside the United States, those are definitely good brands to consider as well. And then you have what we call generic labels and private label brands, which can actually be on the lower end. It could be just a very basic shoe imported from China or from Bangladesh or from Pakistan, and they're just looking to sell that shoe to the discount market. You might even find them in some dollar and up stores. And then you have private label shoes, which can be either produced by up-and-coming labels who are starting to gain traction, and if you buy those shoes at the right time and you store them in your warehouse or your store, when the brand becomes very popular, you will have those shoes to sell to your customers. And it can also be shoes by designers who have tried or trying to get into the market. They haven't yet gained traction, but they're going around to department stores showing their shoes to the department store buyers. People might not be buying them yet, but they might have great quality shoes. They might be very fashionable, really nice colors, so you can take a chance on those. If you think your customers will like that style, of course, those shoes you're not going to be selling based on their name recognition. You're going to be selling them based on the quality, and you're going to be selling them also on their uniqueness, because chances are the designer is going to want to make a name for himself or herself, and the shoes are going to be distinct from the other shoes being offered in the marketplace. Now, here's just a tip I want to give you. If you're buying shoes for a market which is located overseas, you need to know not only the size preference, but also whether they're looking for wide shoes or for regular shoes or narrow shoes. For example, my customers in Africa prefer either regular or wide shoes, while customers in South America or in Asia, they might want more narrow shoes. So there's definitely factors you need to consider when buying the shoes. Also, name recognition is very important. Some names are more popular in other countries. Some names were once very popular, and now they've moved on to other names. Most of my customers in Africa, they used to request names such as Nine West and Steve Madden. Now they're looking for the more higher end names like BCBG and like Guess. And then you have customers in the Caribbean who are either looking for private label shoes, where they're just buying based on a low price. Maybe my customers in Haiti, because of the economic situation there, while they do like brand name shoes, but they're looking mostly for shoes which they can sell at a very low price. So if you are selling in Haiti or selling to Haiti, you want to get shoes by private labels or generic shoes imported from China or from other places. And if you're selling to markets where they want the brand names, then either deal directly with the brand names. You can find the brands in New York or right outside of New York, or you want to deal with showrooms in New York that carry closeouts by those brand names. You want to come to warehouses like my warehouse in Brooklyn and buy closeouts of brand name shoes, whether they are department store overstock, whether they are store returns, which you do want to be careful with store returns because they can have damages. The advantage of store returns are they tend to be nicer shoes than overstock shoes, because those are the shoes that customers actually bought, they took home with them, and then they decided because they didn't match your outfit to return it, or they returned it because the shoe got damaged. So store returns are more up to date than overstock shoes. Overstock shoes are usually from the previous season. Store return shoes are from the current season, but they can have damages, so you want to weigh that factor. Whenever you buy shoes, if you can, go in person, check out the shoes, whether they're at a warehouse or a showroom. If you're buying the shoes from the brand themselves, you can look at the catalog and it'll give you a good idea what you're getting. If you're getting the closeouts in a pallet of assorted shoes, I sell the shoes as assortments when someone places an order online. Then, if you can, visit the warehouse or get pictures or try to watch a video where the warehouse will show you the shoes. That's definitely, a good option. And the other option is you can send someone on your behalf to look at the shoes. And, there's definitely a lot of opportunities with shoes. There's also, you have to know with the shoes what the material is. If your market needs leather shoes and exclusively leather shoes, and stick to those shoes. But you'd be surprised, some of the brand names, I've seen shoes by them which either weren't leather or weren't very high quality leather, but the customers still prefer those because of the brand. So you want to know in your market where the emphasis is. Is it on the brand names? Is it on the style? Is it on the colors? Is it on the material, whether it's leather or not leather? And then even within leather shoes, there's different varying degrees of the quality of the leather shoes. So I definitely, suggest what you should do is visit retailers in your area and see what kind of shoes they carry, and that'll give you an idea what kind of shoes you could sell to your customers. You might be convinced that your customers only want brand name shoes, only to discover that if you try some of the boutique labels, you could do very well. You might even discover that if you are selling brand name shoes, and that is what your customers prefer, you might also do very well with the type of shoes that Payless carries. Payless is a discount retailer in the United States. They mostly sell non-branded shoes or their own labels, which are private labels. But you might do well with those types of shoes because your customers might need shoes for activities where they know that the shoe might get damaged, or maybe they just need the shoes for an occasion because you're going away for a few days and they forgot to bring a pair of shoes with them, or they want to have an extra pair of shoes just in case. And in that situation, they're going to be willing to buy a shoe that's not brand name as long as it's comfortable and it's decent quality, because you're only going to buy it and only going to wear it a few times. Alright, if you have any questions, please give me a call, send me an email. My website is closeoutexplosion.com. I'd love to meet you at the warehouse. Have a great day.